Hello, hello. This is the My Artifact episode number 3940. Yeah, 40. Today's date is March 13, 2026. It's been almost like a night at 10:13 p.m. All right, let's just jump into the question. Let's go. All right, the question is, what obstacle usually prevent me for starting new habit or maintaining new habit? A kind of like obstacles and things and that and that. All right. Okay, first of all, what exactly is this question and why am I asking this question to myself? A couple of days ago, I read a book, Atomic Habit, really amazing book. Highly recommend to you to read this book. I wanted to implement the value that book taught me. How do I do that? While asking question to myself honestly and give the honest answer. Okay, yeah. So I need a question. So I went to ChatGPT, kind of like I say that I read this book, I wanted to implement the values, suggest me 20 question. ChatGPT kind of like suggest me those 20 question. Okay, yeah, this is one of those question. Now, regarding about the question says that key what obstacle usually prevent me to starting new habit or things and that and that. Okay, yeah. Uh okay. Most of the people, let's just take a kind of like a one simple habit. Okay, investing money. Okay, yeah, let's just say that key you wanted to invest money. Okay, yeah, invest money on SIP or any kind of like some stuff. Now that is a really good habit to invest money, right? Yeah. So would you spend money on investing? Well, probably investing. I don't really think that key investing is a kind of like a habit. Why? Because if you kind of, I don't know, maybe I am like I don't really. Okay, let me tell you something. Okay, yeah. If you started investing, okay, yeah, that means like starting SIP or gold investment or things like that. Okay, let's take a SIP, systematic investment planning. Okay, yeah, you you decided that every month 1,000 rupees will kind of like a deduct from your bank account and it will automatically invested on your SIP, whatever the SIP it is. Okay, yeah. So basically, is this habit? Well, for this particular process, you just have to think at the beginning, and then after that, everything actually happen automatically. Okay, yeah, the payment will deduct automatically. Everything will gonna happen automatically. Okay, yeah. So basically, yeah, it's a kind of like a very much easy, right? Like I don't know how I'm supposed to explain this thing. Is that key investing any kind of like a thing is a habit or any kind of like some stuff? I don't know. I'm not kind of like a simply resonate that much. But okay, yeah. Let me tell you from every possible point of perspective. Okay, yeah. Let's just say, do I have a SIP? Yes, I have SIP. I invested 1,000 rupees per month. Okay, yeah. Am I investing on gold? Yes, I am investing on gold. Every single day, I invest 20 rupees per day. So within a month, I invest almost like a 600 rupees per month on gold. Okay, yeah. Do you have health insurance? Well, I don't have health insurance. Why? Why you don't have health insurance? Well, basically, is this thing that na ki I want to invest money on health insurance, but the problem is that ki I don't really have that much amount of money, so that I was supposed to be invest on SIP, gold loan, and then health insurance. Okay, at least I'm not really earning any kind of like simply money, so that's why I'm not kind of like simply investing money on health insurance. But what if something happened, you kind of like accident happened and things, and maybe your arm get broke or your kind of like a leg got broken. So what will gonna happen in that particular situation? Well, the chances that happen would be very less as compared to kind of like something like, let me tell you one thing. Okay, yeah, is that key accident happen. Okay, yeah, whenever it will gonna happen. Okay, yeah, how much chances that accident happened? Might be zero, might be 100%. You can't really kind of like a simply guess that thing, or kind of like a suggest the possibility. There is no possibility at all. Okay, sometime you kind of like a simply just like a, I don't know. Okay, yeah. But for the health insurance, like basically this is, I'm not against with the health insurance. I will definitely gonna invest money on health insurance. I don't really have money to invest. Okay, yeah. Soon as I have some sort of amount of money, I will gonna invest on health insurance. Same thing happened with the term insurance. Is that key right now I don't really have any kind of like some money for term insurance. So when I will have money, I will definitely gonna invest money on term insurance. Okay, yeah, these are very essential thing. I know, I understand the gravity of how much it is important it is, but I will gonna invest money. Okay, but when I will start earning money, I don't really have that much amount of money, so I was supposed to be health and kind of like a focus on term insurance and things and that and that. Okay, yeah. Another thing is that key, if I'm kind of like looking from my possible point of perspective, okay, yeah, accident, okay, like this is the kind of like some event that I can't predict or anything at all. Okay, yeah. But regarding about my overall health, is really good. I am very well healthy. I never really been sick for last 5 years. It's just like I run every single day. My health is kind of like really good. So from health point of perspective, I'm really good, and I'm taking very good care of my health. Okay, I do sleep almost like a 6 7 hour of sleep. Okay, yeah. I do my work, I do my run, I do my diet, not too much, not too less, just kind of like a balanced diet. Okay, and basically is this thing that key, I kind of like a taking good care, shower twice in a day, brush twice in a day. Okay, so this kind of like a make my health a little bit better. Okay, yeah. So if I started investing money on healthcare, probably is this thing that key, like like what if I never really got sick, or what if I never really got kind of like accident or things and that and that, then whatever the money that I should supposed to be invested will gonna loss, right? Probably. But that is not the kind of like a meaning of that. Okay, yeah. Like sometime emergency happen, and when the emergency happened, it takes so much amount of money. Like, okay, let me kind of like give you the context. Okay, yeah. So a couple of month ago, yeah, one of my friend who is a kind of like a something like a, like he has, is not a surgery, but kind of like a somebody is, he has a piles. Okay, yeah, and he wanted to do some sort of thing. Okay, yeah, like a, it's not a surgery. I don't know what exactly that. Okay, yeah, I don't really understand what exactly piles clearly. It's a kind of like a some sort of kind of like a something that key pimples on ass, and it hurt a lot. It's very hurt a lot. Okay, yeah. So basically, is this thing that key, my friend who has a kind of like a that kind of like a health insurance and things and that surgery or whatever that, it's not even surgery, but whatever it is, that thing, it doesn't really cost him a lot, nothing really at all. Okay, yeah, like probably he spent almost like maybe couple of ₹1,000, but rest of the surgeries kind of like happened very smooth, no worry at all. Okay, yeah. So that is what kind of like simply the health insurance. Okay, yeah. Also another thing is that now I also kind of like a come from India, by the way. Okay, yeah. And the medicine are here are way much cheaper. Okay, yeah. Like if you are from US or Europe, then probably this thing medicine price in US and Europe are tremendously very expensive. Literally just like that now, the paracetamol is a kind of like a basic medicine that kind of like a simply just prevent you to kind of like a simply like a kind of like a small disease and things like that, like a fever or things like that. Okay, a paracetamol which cost 10 rupees per tablet. 10 rupees, sorry, 10 rupees per kind of like a simply strip, entire strip. In the strip, almost like a 10 tablets. Okay, so that means 1 rupees per tablet. Okay, yeah. But the same kind of like a paracetamol medicine that you're gonna buy in US, it will gonna cost you maybe kind of like a simply $1 to $2. Probably, I'm not really sure about that exact price, or probably $1 to $2, or maybe I don't know. Okay, yeah. So if I'm kind of like looking at from currency depreciation and things and that, it's probably almost like I am spending almost like a 10 rupees for paracetamol. The people on the US, they spend almost like a maybe 100 or 150 rupees. If I'm kind of like simply from easy point of perspective, I'm not really sure of the exact number, but somewhat something. Okay, so almost like a 10 times they are spending higher, and this is just a kind of like a basic medicine. If they are kind of like wanted to do surgery, oh my god, literally just like that, they can't even kind of like afford do surgery on US people, literally. So that's why they are kind of like doing insurance. Even if they don't really have SIP, no, they kind of like focus on health insurance, because the prices of there is a very expensive. Like literally, just like I kind of like simply uh a kind of like a case where the person who got a kind of like a diabetes, okay, yeah, or maybe diabetes or some sort of surgeon, I'm not really sure what exactly that, regarding about something that kidney something surgery, okay, yeah, that surgery cost him $3 million. I was like, what the fuck is this in $3 million for surgery? Like, dude, like, like basically, is this thing, na? Like, whoever the person will kind of like do the surgery, that doctor will become the millionaire from one surgery, right? So it is like a very expensive. Yeah, over there is like a very expensive. So yeah, I'm living in India, and cost price of medicine are kind of like a less cheaper than rest of the other countries and things and that. But still, health is I will not gonna take any chances. I understand that it is very much prime essential thing. Whenever I will gonna have money, I will gonna invest on healthcare. I will gonna invest on kind of like a something that key, health insurance and term life insurance. By the way, if you don't know what's a term life insurance is a kind of like a, it's an insurance for your family. Means like that, like a somewhat something you die, okay, yeah, then what will gonna happen with your rest of the family? Okay, let's just say you are the kind of like somebody the like a person who kind of like somebody father, and you suddenly die and things like that. So what will gonna happen with your kind of like somebody wife, children and things and that? Okay, because you are the only person who's kind of like earning the money. So if you have a health term life insurance, then you will not gonna get benefit, but your family will gonna get benefit, which is kind of like a really helpful. Okay, if you love them and things and that, which is kind of like a really helpful for them. Okay, yeah. So yeah, term life insurance is also really essential too. Okay. But I'm talking about the habit. Okay, yeah. By the way, I'm kind of like a simply just go into the kind of like a very different scenario. Okay, yeah. So let's talk about the investing. Okay, yeah. So let's just say investing. So basically, is this thing na ki most of people are kind of like don't really do any kind of like investing, is because of that ki they are very much scared. Okay, yeah. I'm belong to the India, and I'm kind of like a telling from Indian context point of perspective. Okay, yeah. So almost the population of India is almost like a 1.1.2 1.3 billion people are actually exist in here. Okay, yeah, which is very huge in number. Okay, yeah. And do you know how many people are kind of like somebody do investing? Almost like a maybe 5%. Okay, 5 to 6%. That's it. Okay, yeah, and that's it. And rest of the people are not even kind of like investing and things. Okay, they are kind of like somebody stay there kind of like their money on their bank, and they are kind of like getting 4% interest yearly 4% interest. It's just nothing really at all. Why not they are kind of like investing money? Well, the problem is that na ki most of people from Indian context point of perspective are very much kind of like a caution regarding about money. Okay, specifically old age generation. Okay, like my father or grandfather, they are very kind of like somebody very scared to use UPI. Literally, yeah, UPI is a kind of like a very basic thing that you could transfer money very easily. Okay, yeah, they are kind of like so scared about the UPI. How should I supposed to be expect from kind of like they should supposed to invest money on SIP, FD and things and that. Huh? Like yeah, like there are very less amount of people who are kind of like invest money on SIP. Yeah, that is true, because the financial awareness in India is a very less. Okay, so that's why people are not really sure regarding about how they should supposed to do money. Whatever the money that they have, they just kind of like invest money on the on the, like, sorry, they, whatever the money that they have, they just kind of like a stay in their bank and that's it. Okay, why? Because they always kind of like a very much scared regarding about financial frauds and things and that, because it's a very much common in India. Scams are, oh my god, like literally every single day I get kind of like a message from this and that, you will get the 5 lakh rupees loan and things and that. Even if I kind of like a block report and things and that, someone kind of like a randomly kind of like a suggests the message and things, I kind of like use the Truecaller, by the way, so that I would supposed to prevent those message and things and that. Like literally just like even kind of like any kind of like a call it came from bank, I just literally just reject. Yeah. Like literally I will not gonna pick up any kind of like a phone which number is not even kind of like a put on my kind of like a phone list. I will not gonna pick up the phone, because scamster in India, oh my god, that's too much, literally too much. Okay, every single person who kind of like somebody exposed with a scam, like every single person who kind of like been through scam, like I got scam, one of my friend who also got scam too, like basically is this thing, the person I every knows, everyone kind of like a somewhat something they got scam. It's a very much common in India. Very much. Okay, yeah. So we are kind of like a very much prevent regarding about the online and things and that, but still financial awareness is very much essential. Also regarding about the finance, why are you kind of like talking about this thing? You should talk about the habit, na? Why are you kind of like talking about the finance and things and that? Oh yeah, that is true. Okay, yeah. So the question is that what kind of like some resistance is actually occurred when you try to start new habit? Okay, yeah. What new kind of like some resistance? Well, how much habit do you have? Well, I do run. Okay, for the running, what kind of like a resistance it actually kind of like occurred? Probably is this thing na ki like I don't know, I might not kind of like simply understand the question, but probably is this thing na ki like basically is this thing that like there are like, okay, let me tell you one thing. I might gonna say that ki most of people are kind of like simply try not to build any habits or things and that is because of that ki they are kind of like expecting result too early. Okay, yeah. And when they didn't really get that result too early, they kind of like simply fail and things and that. Okay, but is this thing na ki I am not that kind of like a particular person. Whatever the kind of like a habit that I kind of like cultivate in my life, I make sure that it should supposed to be longer period of time, because it will gonna add value in me. Artifact, I'm kind of like a recording from last 11 year. Running, I'm kind of like a doing for last 5 year. Content creation that I'm doing for last 5 year. Reading a book, yeah, reading a book takes like just 2 months. Okay, yeah. But yeah, these are kind of like habits that I kind of like doing this thing. I'm not kind of like expecting any kind of like stuff, but still is this thing that na ki for the long journey, it kind of like improve me a lot. Like from recording Artifact episode, I could able to talk that much well, really good, really great. As also I could speak English. My thought process are kind of like very much clear. Okay, same thing happened with the running. Okay, yeah, I do run from last 5 year. I never really been on sick. Last time I got sick when I got COVID, and since then I never really got sick. Okay, so basically is this thing that na yes, it's kind of like simply adding so much amount of value, and also is this thing very good habit, kind of like simply value that you see over the long period of time. Okay, the problem is that na ki I have this mentality that ki whatever the kind of like a habit that I wanted to cultivate in my life, I wanted to kind of like make sure that give the time. Okay, yeah. I am not the kind of like a particular person who kind of like always kind of like a grid for the results and things and that. Okay, so I don't really understand this context, but I've seen a lot of people who are kind of like a very grid for stuff. Okay, basically one of my friend who actually bought the iPhone. Okay, yeah. And basically is this thing na ki okay, buying a new iPhone is okay, that's good, that's great, but like buying this new phone with the EMI is not really good. Because of that, the cost price of that iPhone, like basically is this thing na ki the price of this iPhone is almost like a like okay, let me tell you one thing na. if you anything buy on EMI, like most of people kind of like think that it's a no cost EMI, but that is not. That is definitely not. Definitely not. No one kind of like somebody giving you any product for without any kind of like somebody adding any charges. Nothing really at all. Like literally, I just buy this phone, which is a Poco X7 Pro. Okay, yeah, which cost me like a 27,000 rupees. Okay, literally 27,000 rupees, and basically how much money I paid in EMI. Okay, so if I I calculate everything and I spend almost like a 28,000 rupees, means 1,000 rupees, 28,500 something. So that means almost like a 1,500 rupees I extra charge for this mobile phone. Okay, yeah, with the EMI and things and that and that. By the way, my EMI was almost like a 9-month EMI. Okay, yeah, and I kind of like spent almost like 1,500 rupees. Okay, yeah, which is kind of like a comparatively very less price. Because of that, my phone is a kind of like a not that much kind of like a expensive phone. But when you buy something very expensive phone, then dude, that kind of like a prices will kind of like go higher, literally go higher. Okay, like let's just say that if you need to buy iPhone, which costs you almost like a 55,000, and you're gonna buy this phone with EMI, it will gonna kind of like go almost like a 60,000, 58 to 68, 58 to 60,000 probably. Yeah, from if your kind of like EMI is way much longer, like a more than a year, then it will gonna kind of like a even more higher EMI. Okay, might be kind of total price of the iPhone would be kind of like a 62,000, which is really insane amount of price that you are paying for 55,000 rupees of iPhone. Okay, and as also is this thing na, iPhone is a kind of like a depreciating value. Okay, means like that na ki if you buy today, it kind of like simply cost you 55,000 rupees. But if you buy after 10 months, it kind of like a cost you 50,000 rupees. So basically, just do the mathematics. Okay, yeah. Let's just say that ki you are buying the iPhone. Okay, today, like today is launch, and today you will gonna buy that iPhone kind of like a launch almost like a 55,000 rupees. You buy this iPhone on EMI. Okay, yeah. You take almost like a 9 month of EMI, sorry, 10 month of EMI, and kind of like you are kind of like get this phone. So basically, it's this thing that ki you will kind of like how much money that you spend for this 55,000 rupees of iPhone, you are spending almost like 60,000 rupees. Yeah, including EMI and interest and things and that and that. 60,000 rupees. Okay, yeah. But if you wait for 10 months, okay, didn't really buy, and after the 10 month you will gonna buy this phone. So you will gonna buy this phone in 50,000, because after the 10 month, new phone will gonna launch and things and that, the cost price will be kind of like a decrease and things and that. Wherein kind of like a decrease, the price of this iPhone will kind of like a 50,000 rupees. So understand the things that na. So basically is this thing, if you buy right now, you will spend almost like a 60,000 rupees for new iPhone. But if you wait for 10 months, you will gonna get same phone in 50,000 rupees. Okay, so probably you are kind of like a saving 10,000 rupees. Okay, like the calculation might not be exact clear and things and that, but somewhat something true. Because iPhone is a kind of like a depreciating value. Like basically throughout the time, it kind of like a simply the price of that iPhone is kind of like a depreciate even more lower. Okay, so that is what it is. Okay, so basically it's this thing na ki like I'm not saying is that ki buying iPhone is not really good thing. It's a really good thing, but still is this thing na ki buying iPhone with the EMI, that is not good thing. Okay, yeah. Because like whatever the like basically is this na, if you buy MacBook, then probably I will gonna say this thing, MacBook is kind of like a very really good appliances. Okay, like basically this thing in the MacBook you can do so many stuff. Okay, and things and that. And if you're kind of like spending almost like a 1 lakh rupees on MacBook, and if you're kind of like paying EMI and things and that, which is worth it, because the MacBook is kind of like providing much more value than iPhone. iPhone is just nothing, dude. Like literally just like that. Now what could you do more with the phone? Like there are so many things that you could do, like a camera and things and that, but you are the kind of like a person who you will gonna utilize that thing, then that is okay na. If you are the kind of like a particular person who just kind of like buy the iPhone just for logo, then it doesn't really make sense at all. If you are a content creator, or if you are kind of like a particular person who kind of like take a lot of photos or videos or things and that, then in that case you will kind of like utilize your iPhone with much more kind of like effectiveness and things and that. But if you're the kind of like a particular person who kind of like buys this phone with Apple fruit with a hefty EMI and things and that, then that is not really good. Yeah. Again, MacBook in other hand, which is really good, but still it depends on the person who kind of like utilize that appliances. Okay, yeah. It's not really that thing. Even if the person who just kind of like somebody buy the MacBook just for kind of like a Netflix, then doesn't really make sense at all. Yeah. So yeah, so basically this thing regarding about some I don't know why I'm kind of like somebody going off the topic and things, and like basically this I am not really kind of like somebody give kind of like very much right topic regarding about this thing. How do I supposed to kind of like somebody stopping the resistance from good habit? Like I don't know, like basically this thing that I do not expect kind of like a good result very early and just keep doing stuff. I don't know, this is kind of like an advice that I will gonna give you. Like basically that's the only thing. Okay, yeah, because like I don't know, it's just like that na, if you wanted to build any kind of like a good habits or things like that and that, make sure focus on consistency. Okay, yeah, if you focus on intensity, then probably you might not gonna kind of like a continue for longer period of time. Habit means you are kind of like a meant to do things every single day. It really required consistency. Consistency really required less effort. So you make sure that whatever the kind of like effort that you are putting are less, but continue every single day. Then it will kind of like effective for longer period of time, probably. Yeah. So this might be a kind of like a something the obstacles and things that prevent from the starting and maintaining new habits and things and that. Like basically this thing na, the person who wanted to build the new habit, he will gonna build. Even if like a basically this thing na, he wanted to do, he can do it. He might gonna fail. Like let's just say the person who wanted to go to the gym, he kind of like only fail at the beginning, but he constantly know that ki, yeah, okay, I fail. Tomorrow I will gonna next month I will gonna go and things and that. Like basically this na, sometimes na kind of like somebody that ki failure might be kind of like some reason to kind of like continue this thing. So yeah, like a person who wanted to kind of like continue a habit, that particular person will continue. Okay, yeah, like basically this is if the particular person who don't want to continue the habit, how much effort that I put to kind of like say this thing, do this, do that, that particular person never gonna do this thing. Yeah, habit is a kind of like a things that actually come from within itself. Someone kind of like telling that go to the gym and things and that, if I'm gonna say go to the gym and kind of like doing things and that, it doesn't really work like that way. Like the kind of like some things are really required from inside, not from outside. So that's what it is. So this is and thank you.